Hello. Well, as we always say, I want to welcome you first of all to TALKSHOP, where we tell it like it is and let the chips fall where they bloody hell may. And as we say all the time, truth crash to earth shall rise again. And as we have promised our apostles of Jandam, we shall meet them head on and face them and suffocate all the Jandam with the truth. Yes. And the final question I ask before I attend to my show, what time is it, folks? It's nation time. Folks, today I want to talk about something I've never talked about. I've mentioned it here and there, but today I want to go deep. Do you know why, whether it's NPP or NDC or whatever the party, they are having a problem solving GALAMSEY? And let me tell you right now, I don't think any party has that power to solve GALAMSEY. And I'll explain to you very, very soon. Folks, let me tell you something. You know, I have been doing some studies into what this whole GALAMSEY thing is. And I'm telling you this for a fact, that GALAMSEY has become a livelihood for people. When I say livelihood for people, do you know what I mean? People depend on GALAMSEY to live. People depend on GALAMSEY for a living. We are talking about people's livelihoods. So now check this out, man. When I say people's livelihoods, how many people am I talking about? Somebody else say, KSM, Nipa here, Nawoka. How many people? Is it 10,000? No. Is it 20,000? No. Okay. 50,000? No. You mean more people depend on GALAMSEY, more than 50,000 people? I say, yeah, go up. Okay, it's 100,000. No. Folks, I don't want to go on and on and on, but the fact is this. Sadly, whether we want it or not, whether we know it or not, the people who depend, whose livelihood depend on GALAMSEY is in the estimates of 1 million plus. Let me catch them all. People who actually, I'm not saying they're all doing from GALAMSEY, but who are linked and who are beneficiaries of GALAMSEY is in the neighborhood, let me say, is in excess of 1 million people. Now tell me this, which government, which party will have the boldness to say, I have come and I've cancelled GALAMSEY, knowing that the people who depend on it are in the millions. You know, this is our democracy. We depend on votes. Everything is about Charlie. I don't want to lose votes, so we depend on votes. So I'm telling you this, that the people's whose livelihood depends on GALAMSEY is in excess of 1 million. So I just want people to understand certain things now, and why I'm saying confidently that I'm waiting for that party or that leader who says, Charlie, my back and I'll cancel GALAMSEY. Folks, didn't Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, he put his presidency on the line.
I've said it in the cabinet, and perhaps it's the first time I'll be saying it in public. I am prepared to put my presidency on the line on this matter.
Didn't John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, also make all sorts of promises about how we will end GALAMSEY?
I know that after 7 January 2025, when Ghanaians have voted for me, I will take that responsibility and we will sort out illegal mining.
Folks, and I'm telling you this, maybe I'm wrong, but as I sit here today, knowing on the livelihoods that depend on GALAMSEY, I'm yet to see that political leader that will be bold enough to say, essentially, and people are angry because obvious reasons. GALAMSEY is killing us. GALAMSEY is destroying our water bodies. Look at the state of our rivers. Galamsey is going into the soil now, and it's affecting even the food crops. Our cassava, our cocoa, everything is being affected by this. So yes, folks, I'm saying, understandably, people are angry. But let me tell you something before I continue. Very, very important thing. You know, I heard one wise person say at some point that if there's any problem that you want to solve, the answer to the problem lies in the problem itself. And I'm saying, wow, really? I say, yes. If there's any problem that you need to solve, oh, but yeah, you do this, you do everything. But it says, watch it. The answer to the problem that you want to solve is in the problem itself. And I know that modern motivational speakers, they say something to that effect. They say, in order to solve a problem, you must have a 50% understanding of the problem. They say if you have a 50% understanding of the problem, then you're close to solving the problem. So for me, folks, I think all of us, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think all of us, our leadership, our people, we haven't really sat down to understand the problem of Galamsey. So we think that solving Galamsey is talking about it on the platform. I put my presidency, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this. It's because we haven't understood Galamsey. Let me tell you for a fact, folks, way before Nanado was born, there was Galamsey in Ghana. And if it was on before Nanado, then obviously it was on before Mahama. There was Galamsey in Ghana. But you know something? At that time, it wasn't called Galamsey. It was known as artisanal miners. And here's the thing, folks. Artisanal miners have existed and worked in this country for centuries. If you go into history, they say 15th century, there along, Ashantis were trading in gold. Where was this coming from? I want you to understand something. Galamsey is not something that just came on after NDC or MPP came on. Galamsey is not something that just shot up after independence. No, I want to get your mind to understand something. How did this country become known as the Gold Coast? When the colonialists came to Ghana, did they just arrive in Ghana and they look at Ghana and they say, oh, Chale Ghana, you are a Gold Coast? Just randomly? No, it's because they realized that we had gold. We had blacksmiths who were smelting gold. We were dealing with gold trinkets and things. Even the white folks were getting gold back in the day. So they knew that there was gold on this land. And that's why they called it the Gold Coast. So I just want to, in this presentation, get Ghanaians to start understanding, say, the Gold Coast did not come by accident. And it wasn't because they came to Ghana and they discovered the gold and called Ghana Gold Coast. No! When they came to Ghana, we were dealing with gold. We had gold. Massa, I kid you not. We call them artisanal mining. Our people, way before the white folk came down, way before independence. Folks, let me tell you something. In 1897, how many years before independence was that? In 1897, three Fantis. One was called Brown, then another one was called Ellis, and then there was a Biney. And 44 years, three Fantis. Even in Cape Coast, Kranom, yes, small money, but they had heard that the bulk of the gold is in the Ashanti region. So these three people, they traveled to Obuasi. Brown, Ellis, and Biney. They traveled to Obuasi and saw the Nana there, the chief there, actually, we want to explore gold. Can you give us a concession for some small area? I don't remember the area, but I think it must have been about 20-mile radius. Say, okay, here. Brown, Ellis, and Biney. They were the first Ghanaians to actually get a concession in Obuasi to start mining. And believe it or not, that is the beginning of Obuasi Goldfield. That was the beginning of Obuasi Goldfield. Obuasi Goldfields, before they became what they were, it took 3 Ghanaians, Fanti men. They had what they call the Fanti Enterprise, or is there something, and they went into Obuasi and started the gold mine there. And they started mining with artisanal mining. They started doing what today we call Galamsey. They were mining. 1897. So the white man, I think his name was Cade, K-A-D or something, Cade. You know, he came and discovered them and saw that they were setting up operations and mining in Obuasi. And he says, listen, I can bring you, I can come in with machines and partner you, then we can do this. So the 3 Ghanaians partnered with Cade, and that was the foundation in the beginning of Obuasi mines. I mean, after a while, the 3 backed off and just went to do other businesses. But Obuasi mines remains Obuasi Goldfields. It is one of the oldest gold fields in the world. Experts will tell you that when you go into gold mining, you have a maximum of 20 to 30 years, then I have to, you know, but it's in over 100 years, Obuasi gold mine is still there. And no, I want to draw attention to something, folks. This was started by Ghanaians, so 3 Fantis started Obuasi Goldfield. So I'm drawing attention to something, I'm building something. That this gold that we have, that we are sitting on, is something that belongs to us, it's something that we owned, and it's something that ideally Ghanaians should be at the forefront of mining. Yanuma Kutu Champon Kutu says, I want Ghanaians to occupy the commanding heights of the economy. And I'm saying, all things being equal, I would love that Ghanaians are occupying the commanding heights of this gold mining industry. 3 Fantis started Obuasi, and it's grown. Now we have Newmont, we have Ashanti, we have all kinds of mines all over. But it was started at Obuasi by 3 Fantis. Now, all I'm saying is this. I don't want us to start thinking that Galamsey is a recent event. Are you following me? I don't want you to start thinking, so now Galamsey, Galamsey. No, it is not a recent event. Galamsey has been part of Ghana as artisanal mining for the longest time. And it took 3 Ghanaians to set up the biggest gold field, maybe in Ghana or close to the world. 3 Fantis. So I'm building a story, but the first foundation I'm laying is that we should understand this whole history of Galamsey and let's fight it and let's get rid of it. No, I just want us to, as I said at the beginning, you need to understand a problem thoroughly. And when you understand the problem, that you can go and propose a solution, you know? And I think that part of our misunderstanding of Galamsey, and I understand why we have that misunderstanding, and I'll talk about that later, but I think part of the reason we have that misunderstanding is even the narrative. You know, before artisanal mining was an integral part of us. We're doing it, we're profiting from it, and even the country was named Gold Coast because of the activities of artisanal mining, you know. Now, and I'll tell you something in a few minutes time, now it has metamorphosized into Galamsey, with which now the country is ready to fight it. And politicians are made to promise what they can do to fight it. You know, I was looking at things and reading things, and I said, okay, this is our first misunderstanding. Because we do not understand the problem. The solution has misfired a bit. Because if you look at it very carefully, The fight should not be, we are fighting against Galamsey. We'll bring guns, we'll shoot on sight. We are fighting against Galamsey. No, the narrative is wrong. The narrative is wrong. And you know why it's wrong? Because that narrative have come from the big guns who have eventually moved into Ghana and who are controlling our mining. They are giving us the narrative. You understand me very soon. That narrative has come from the big guns, the big mining companies here, there. They have developed the narrative essentially. You should watch these small Galamsey people. They are destroying your waters and they are doing this and they are doing that. And yes, they are. And I've done enough studies, so I'll come to that too, again, very soon. But yes, they are. You know? And I'll be explaining why they are. But I'm saying the narrative, because the narrative and where it is coming from, it is seen as these people are the ones who are disturbing our flow. Let us stop them. It's a fight. It's a fight against Galamsey. However, folks, the whole narrative can be rephrased. And instead of saying, say, we are fighting against Galamsey, let us all come together as one people and say, we are protecting our environment. We are protecting our rivers. We are protecting our forest. We are protecting it. You know, when you frame it in this narrative, then everybody should get on board. You get on board not to fight Galamsey or to fight anything. You get on board because we have a nation to build. You get on board because we have an environment to protect. You get on board because we have forests to keep. So I'm saying, let's shift the narrative a little bit. And we haven't shifted the narrative because where the narrative have come from has presented the whole thing to us as something we should fight against. Now let me say something. I understand why there's the feeling to fight against Galamsey. I've called people who are fighting against Galamsey. I've hosted on the M1 show and I've given them big ups. Thank you so much for the spirit of fighting Galamsey. Do you know why? Let me tell you why. You know, I explained earlier that we have always had artisanal mining in Ghana. It is nothing new. Before any of the political parties were even formed, there was artisanal mining in Ghana. So here's a story. Once, you know, the three Fantes helped to build Obuasi and they left, and then Obuasi Gold Mine was there, and others came in. You have all the Shanti Goldfield, we have Newmont, what? They all came in. You see? So once they all came in, mining became a thing for those who have the fiscal power, the money, to come in and mine the gold. All of a sudden, when you look at the mining landscape, you didn't see any artisanal mining. Oh, they were all gone. In came these big mining companies. And their mission was simple, man. Dig the gold, give the Negroes, that's what they call black people. Some even say niggas, but I won't say nigger here, it's a very bad word. Come in with your machines, dig the gold, and give the government some local fuel, something small with their tax. And then they are him for the kings and chiefs and palaces. Also give them some royalty. Take the rest to your country. And you have no idea how much gold they have taken from Ghana to their countries to build their country. You have no idea. I'm telling you, even if they had kept a quarter of the proceeds of the gold in Ghana, you see UGMC, that hospital that we always talked about, Ghana could have been able to afford 2 UGMCs in every region. Now I think we have 16 regions. If we had gotten a good portion of the gold, every region in Ghana could have had 2 UGMCs. You see Tech, Legon, and all those universities, whatever, we could have had 3 of such universities in every region if we had kept it cold. I just want you to understand that the amount of gold that has been taken from Ghana and sent outside. So with this awareness that, Charlie, the gold that we have is being taken outside, maybe we should encourage what we used to call artisanal mining to also get into the fray, so that Ghanaians can also benefit some. So I think in 1989 there was a PNDC law 218, and the PNDC law 218 actually gave Ghanaians the chance that they can actually apply for concessions and start mining. So that it's not only the big guns here, the major companies that are exploiting it, giving us nuclear fuel and taking the rest abroad. No. But now it's expanded that let us give Ghanaians a chance to go into small scale mining. The intention was fantastic. So are the ones enjoying all this gold. Let us give our people another chance. I'm saying another chance because before they came, we were in artisanal mining. So if they are coming, they have taken it all from us, let us give them another chance to start. And what they said we'll start with was small scale mining. And you know what? When I look at some of the footages of what the small scale mining, which is equivalent to GALAMSEY, has caused, then I understand the people's frustrations. Look at the diseases, the deaths, the children being born with abnormalities. It is terrible. People have one eye, some have no fingers. These are all parts of what we call the effects of the GALAMSEY. But let me tell you what went wrong, folks. If you want to find a solution, please, let's find out what the problem is. What went wrong was that in 1989, when the PNDC said, let's open it up for small scale miners to get in, so that Ghanaians can also be a part of this, instead of waiting for the local fuel from the big boys. So let's do small scale mining. And that fantastic idea, great motivation, but as always with black people, Africans, Ghanaians, there was no intelligent regulatory framework to operate in. There was no regulatory framework. And I say, small scale mining, if you're over 18, you can indulge, and a boom. That is our GALAMSEY today, small scale mining. And here's the thing, folks. If we're serious people, and we should be, when that was introduced, there should have been serious regulatory framework. They'll tell you that there's the regulatory framework, and that's what they tell you all the time. The regulations are there, or the laws are there. The enforcement is zilch. So when this came up that we cannot get in small scale mining, that is when we went berserk. We hit the trees, we hit the forest, we hit the rivers, everywhere we think we can find gold. Let's go for it. Energy boom. And sadly, because the regulators did not regulate it and make small scale mining attractive and law abiding, they just let it go. That is where they also let it go, and they're everywhere, rivers, forests, destroying everything, and we are crying today. But you know what I'm saying, folks? And listen to this real good. It is sad that the miners have been allowed to destroy to that level. But it is even sadder that as a nation, there is no regulation. Or if there is, it is not enforced. Can you imagine if we had strict regulations that were enforced? You know, all the time you hear about GALAMSEY, Muslims, you know, you're doing this, you're doing this. So all the miners know what they are doing is wrong, But my question is this. Where is the regulation that should have come with that law to actually control and direct the trajectory of small-scale miners? There should be rules. There should be laws. But there was nothing. And that is a big problem that we are facing now. That's a big problem because there's nothing. Everybody is going haywire. So people now, what we have now as I speak, go and get the concession. Bring in some Chinese. Sell them the concession. Let them bring in their chamfai or whatever they call it. Spoil the water. Spoil the trees. Destroy Ghana. So you can make your money. And even the GALAMSEY, no. Yeah. You bring in the chamfai. Come and destroy your country. And you know why? Because as Ghanaians, we should be intelligent enough to have put a framework, regulatory body. I mean, regulatory, you should let me invite somebody from the Chamber of Mines of Toronto. You come and sit here and you hear the amount of regulations they will tell you. But I say crap. You know why I'm saying crap? It is just like the policeman standing at the traffic light and motorbikes. Is a red light too, but they just go. They don't respect the red light, and the policeman is just standing there. The law is there that when it's red, even a motorbike must not cross the red, but they will, even in the front of a policeman, which means the law is meaningless. So the regulators, you have done all your regulations, but because you are not able to enforce the regulation has become meaningless. That's why I was showing all these pictures of deformed children, immature, premature deaths, unnecessary deaths, because we are destroying our rivers, our trees, and everything. But check this. Check this. They are very, very intelligent Ghanaians who know how to mine and mine responsibly. Who know how to mine and not destroy. Where are they? We have the regulation. And I'm saying it was good because until then, all the reserves and the money from gold was being taken outside. They have given you a knock of your shut up, let them take it. So we have opened the door that Ghanaians too can enter. And if Ghanaians were intelligent people, it would have come with regulation that would have shown the people that now you can enter the small scale mining. But this is exactly how you do it. I know brilliant Ghanaians, man. Samuel Owusu, I think he's in the US now. And others who would have come, maybe even do a documentary and show all those people who have registered to go and do small scale mining that this is how it is done. And as part of the regulatory framework, you tell them you cannot go into any forest and cut down trees, you can't do this, you can't do that. This is how it is done. Nobody was told how it was done. Nobody knows anything. All they know is that if I go into this river, Namisai River, I will get some gold here, there. The gold is everywhere. That's why we call it the Gold Coast. People have been known to go to farms in the Boss area, pay something small for the farm and say, cut down all your cocoa because you're going to mine gold. Pay them something small and there's gold underneath there. The gold is, that's why we are called the Gold Coast. But until we step up the game and introduce nice regulation that will guide the people, the fight ain't free. That's why I said in the beginning that if you don't sit down to understand the problem, and the problem has many, many heads, so this gold problem. The first thing is I told you that the people who are doing artisanal mining, who have now transformed into GALAMSEY, their livelihoods depend on it. It has become a livelihood problem, and that's the biggest threat to any government. How do you go and touch these livelihoods? You know? So that is what I'm saying. So if you understand the problem, then you know that, Charlie, this one there, I can't easily touch it. You know, and because now the people who are getting into small scale mining are increasing, and that increment is now threatening the thresholds of the big guns. Now, I won't be surprised even if some of them are behind all this. Let's fight against Galamsey, because it is encroaching on their territory. And sadly, all that we can target and fight against and arrest and everything, these are the young guys. Have you seen any big gun arrested? I started by saying, let me complete that this gold thing has several heads. That number one, the Galamsey is something that is a livelihood problem, and that is for the masses of the people. It's a livelihood problem. And when you escalate it from the masses and you get to the middle class and upper classes and the things, they too are benefits. They have the money to pay the masses to do the wrong things. So that's one level too. They have big guns who are benefiting from it. And then the third thing, as the major companies too that have come in who are also benefiting seriously. Have you seen any CEO of a major company or this big shot arrested for anything related to mining? No. Folks, all I'm saying is this. It is very, very, very sad that illegal mining, which was before we got independence, called artisanal mining, which was appreciated and which was letting Ghanaians flourish. Well, it was called artisanal mining. It was 3 artisanal miners from Cape Coast that set up Obuasi Gold Fields. It is sad that these same artisanal miners, because of lack of regulation and lack of law and order, have now become what we call Galamsey, and now the order is, Charlie, let's fight. So I'm saying all of this for you to understand. I don't want anybody to walk away. So KSM says it's endorsing Galamsey because it has been in Ghana a long time. No. What KSM is saying is that if we had brought proper regulation for the miners to understand that this is how you do it. You can go and pull all these miners who are out there killing people, destroying our waters, and ask them, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. Who has come to explain that this is wrong? And so they do it and do it properly, because the livelihood thing I'm talking about is not something you can joke with, folks. So here we go. You know, so I have to say this, that the NDC has not faced Galamsey head on. No, I'll never say that. They too, when they were in opposition, made so much noise about Galamsey and how this thing needs to be fixed and blah, 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 blah. But now that they're in power, you realize that they're seeing the problem and understand the problem. So you're talking about livelihoods of millions of people.
Illegal small-scale mining. Almost sa ejumano si abon ho ban a ebe say asase no. And so yedi nyansa and yedi ye. Every say sa ade a yedi soldier for ade echichi ye mabu na omo ye illegal small scale mining no. Ya ye bi da. Sa okaya ya ye bi da e wo Ghana ha. Nso anya ejuma. Enti ye adwin say we will bring a new mining law ebe regulate sa Galamsey na ama ejuma no etimi akoso ama omo awuye ni ye no etimi aye enya bibi akoma no. And so Brofokasamu Yebeka said, if you put a blanket ban and then you send soldiers after the young people, that is not the way to go. Once you stop illegal small-scale mining, at the same time, you must put in place a livelihood package so that as you are displacing people from illegal mining, they have something else to do. But when there's nothing to do and you're just chasing them and shooting them, it is not the way to go. In Tampara, I was buying a share sa regulations. Normally, she papa ba send a beya. They'll do it within the law.
But at least there has been an intelligence to set up a gold board. And the gold board has become some kind of regulator and make sure that nobody can sell gold by heart and nobody can smuggle. And at least it is in that framework protecting our gold, increasing our gold bars at the central bank. In that framework, they have accomplished quite a bit.
The gold board has so far been a great blessing to Ghana. And there is no gainsaying that. Within the short period that we have operated, first as PMMC and now as Gold Board, we've exported close to 50 tons of gold as we speak. And that is gold from just the small scale sector. And for the first time in Ghana's history, gold export from the small scale sector has exceeded gold exports from the large scale sector, showing clearly that the small scale sector is a very important and critical sector that, as the president said, if properly harnessed, can really help the development and the transformation we all seek for our beloved country. And that is why he has established the Ghana Gold Board. And so we will not let the people of Ghana down. When you hear that we have exported over 50 tons of gold, because this month alone we are doing almost 9 tons of gold, then you know that this month alone we brought in nothing less than $900 million in forex for the Bank of Ghana. And so if the Bank of Ghana has enough forex liquidity for the market and for government obligations, and the CD is strong and stable, it is because of some of these things that the Gold Board is doing.
But the fact is this: the fight against Galamsey, the narrative must change. Let us rather say we are protecting our river bodies. We are protecting our forest. And then the regulation should also include, nobody can just get up and say, I'm a miner, and go and destroy rivers and waters and me a miner. To hell with you. What did you study mining? You know, and that is the same thing. Oh, it's not just the miners. We have it everywhere. Pastors. Any Tom, Dick, and stupid person get up, oh, I've got a calling from God. Today, he's out there having a healing crusade. No regulation. Any kakaboo herbalist you see has airtime on a major television station selling and say, oh, these drugs have been approved by the whatever have been approved, and they'll sell you a drug that can cure gonorrhea and cancer at the same time. What to be that? No regulation. This is the country of no regulation. You know, sometimes I make fun of how America says, America is the land of the free and the brave. I said, go to hell, America. You want a land of the free and the brave? Come to Ghana. Where in the world can some kakaboo journalists get TV airtime to sell medicine? I said, this medicine, if you buy it, if you have gonorrhea, it will heal you. If you have stomach cancer, it will heal you. Even if you have prostate cancer, it will heal you. Where in the world? Ghana. This is the land of the free and the brave. Where in the world can you get any nincompoop get up and say, Master, if you do this there, we'll make sure that your nation is ungovernable and work free? Ghana. In Timikacha, say, if you want the land of the free and the brave, it is Ghana. We don't have any respect for law. We don't have any respect for order. We just respect people for people who talk rubbish. I have money. I do this. I finance the party. I do crap, folks. So all I'm saying today, man, let us rethink this fight against Galamsey. Let us get regulation that will show Ghanaians how to do it. There's community mining in Australia, in South Africa. Let them go and study how you preserve the water, how you preserve the forest. There is a way. Show Ghanaians the right way. Show the miners the right way. I was discussing this with a friend of mine. He gave me a very interesting suggestion. He says, you know how we have chartered accountants and chartered whatever chartered. He says we should have a chartered miners association. Chartered. He says we should have an association of chartered miners and environmental protection together. Think about it. Think about it. So that before you are giving any concession to mine, you must have had some training and have become a member of this chartered association for miners and environmental protection. Meaning, say, you know how to do things. And when you go and destroy some river or something, just like when a doctor misbehaves, they can take their license. They can take your license too. But this free-for-all thing is not working for Ghana. This free-for-all thing is not working for Ghana. And that is why GALAMSEY is killing us. And the sad thing is that it will continue to kill us until somebody is brave enough to say, okay, we are ending this crap here. Now, before you call yourself a miner, you have to go through A, B, C, D. Before you're giving concession to go and mine anything, you have to go through and do the right thing. And above all, keep the Chinese out, man. That's a whole conversation for another time. If I ever do a part 2, I'll be talking about that. That very, very, very sad thing that as a country, one of the biggest natural resources that we have signed away to Chinese, to Indians, to Lebanese. And yet, Nanado can say, no. Let me quote Nanado here. Was it Yenye yet is Sikaso? So come day.
I am a boat or Ghana. It is Sikaso, or may you hear my. I come there.
Why would Okom not dying? What I said in English means we are not a broke country. We are sitting on wealth, but we are hungry. Why won't we be hungry? When we don't have the intelligence to set up a regulatory framework that can control things and make sure that the right things are being done. And all I will say is that the resetting, includes GALAMSEY. GALAMSEY too needs resetting. And I wanted all of Ghanaians to understand the enormity of the problem. So let me end by saying this, folks. Let us understand the problem. And the understanding of the problem is that it has been allowed to go so far so we can't stop the problem. So let's change the narrative. Instead of we are fighting GALAMSEY, we are fighting GALAMSEY and it's a war zone and let's attack them and let's send the military there. No, let's change the narrative to let us protect our rivers and our water bodies. Let us protect our forests. And let even all those who are mining understand that whatever they're doing, they need to be protecting our rivers and water bodies. Because if you want Ghana to rise again, and we will, then all of these things, all of these areas needs to be reset. And when that is done, trust me, people, Ghana will rise again.